What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going over the best streaming options for week 1 of fantasy hockey. Now, I know regular season hockey has already started with the Devils and the Sabres, and it would have been wise to pick up those players to maximize your games, but we're just going to go over the teams that are playing from Monday to Sunday. With that being said, here are the teams with the most off nights. And as you can see, the teams with the best schedule are the Vegas Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets. These two teams have 3 games and all of them are off nights. So if you want to maximize your games, you want to pick up players from those teams. Now, in terms of the others, there's no teams with 4 games this week. Lots of teams with 3 games, but there's 5 teams that have 3 games and 2 off nights. So these teams are good for maximizing your games as well. These teams are the Blues, the Oilers, the Kraken, the Flames, and the Blackhawks. Good for maximizing your games with those 2 off nights, but ideally the best players to have to stream are players on the Vegas Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets. Now, those were the teams with the best schedule, but let's talk about the worst schedule here. And the team with the worst schedule is the Washington Capitals. The Capitals only play 1 time this week, and it's on a heavy night on Saturday. So if you have a lot of Capitals players on your team, it's not ideal. Obviously, I wouldn't drop the top tier players on the Capitals, but if there's some Capitals players on your team that you can feel comfortable dropping, then I would drop them for players on teams that have 3 games and 3 off nights like the Jets and Vegas, or some of the other teams I mentioned as well. We also have a bunch of teams that only have 2 games this week and no off nights. Yes, we have the Sabres and Devils on here, but they obviously played Friday and Saturday, so they still had a really good schedule. But regardless of those teams, the teams from Monday to Sunday that only have 2 games and no off nights include the Kings, the Islanders, the Senators, the Red Wings, the Predators, the Blue Jackets, and the Sharks. They all play on those heavy nights, Thursday and Saturday. And if you want to maximize your games, it might be ideal dropping some of those mid-tier players and picking up players on the teams I mentioned earlier. With that being said, the best streamers to add are on Vegas or the Jets. And in terms of the top tier players that could be available in your league, these players are Gabriel Vilardi, Tomas Hertl, Mark Stone, Victor Olofsson, and Ivan Barbashev. Now, Hertl and Stone are pretty highly rostered, but they could be available in some 8-team leagues or 10-team leagues. And Vilardi's getting up there at this point because he's first line power play. He's not just a streamer, guys. He's someone you hold. But yeah, those guys could be available. Victor Olofsson is less than 10% rostered. He's first line power play. No brainer to me. Olofsson has got to be the best streamer in terms of availability, right? If you're looking for a guy that's going to get you 3 games and 3 off nights and have that deployment on a good team, Olofsson is your guy. Ivan Barbashev's a great option. He puts up a lot of hits. He's on the first line with Eichel. Not the first line power play, but definitely a solid stream too. I also want to mention this. I forgot to say, streaming players always depends on your league settings. If you're in a category league, you might want to prioritize certain categories. In a points league, you want to maximize your points regardless. And it depends, right? If your league counts hits, if your league doesn't count hits, and other settings as well. So I always want to say that. Make sure you understand your league settings. Now, in terms of these other players, it will depend on your league settings in terms of which are the most valuable, but Cole Perfetti, Brady McNabb, Neil Pionk, Keegan Colasar, Dylan DeMello, Nino Niederreiter, Alex Iafallo, Namestikov. And if you're in a more shallow league, players like Scheifele or Ehlers could be available as well. So if you're in like a 6-team league or an 8-team league and those guys are available, they will be fantastic options. Vegas and Jets are the ideal streamers, but these are some other streamers as well. The players on teams that have 3 games and 2 off nights. There's so many options on these teams. I'll just list off some that I have here. Nazem Kadri, Jared McCann, Pavel Buchnevich, Victor Arvidsson, Jeff Skinner, Jake Neighbors, Justin Falk, Blake Coleman, Eli Tolvanen, Seth Jones, Igor Sharangovich, Jordan Eberle, Matty Beniers, Jonathan Huberdeau, Martin Pospisil, Tyler Bertuzzi, Andre Kuzmenko, Teuvo Teravainen, Mikael Backlund, Taylor Hall, Chandler Stevenson, Philip Kurashev, and more. It's really going to depend on your league settings in terms of which players you want to pick up, but lots of good options to choose from. And yeah, they could be really good options to maximize your games for this week. All right, guys, that's the end of the video. Good luck on your first fantasy hockey week. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.